Welcome to Good News Now, a weekly message of love and hope. The act of resistance from the apostles in Acts 5 is rooted in freedom. And that freedom didn't come from any worldly power of authorization. This freedom flew in the face of the established authorities in Jerusalem. This freedom sprang forth from what the apostles had witnessed. In some ways, it might be ironic to understand this story as one of freedom when it contains the apostles' excuse that we must obey God rather than any human authority. Freedom is a gift God gives us. This is the cup of freedom. I don't think the apostles need to proclaim this good news that came from a place of bondage. God does not coerce us. But I do think they had something that burned with such fire in them. They had witnessed something so powerful that to choose not to proclaim it would have been impossible. I think that's what God offers us. God's news, good news, so powerful and profound that it ought to be a burden for us to refrain from sharing it. I know there are things I have witnessed that have struck me so profoundly, I felt incapable of remaining silent about it. When we have a real encounter of the power of God's love, we're held captive to the need to share it, in the same way that sometimes we cannot help but sing about it or take the streets. This freedom we must not take for granted. It is a freedom that gives us the responsibility to use it for good. The church has had an historic struggle offering freedom to its disciples. When many think of the Christian church in the U.S., their hesitation and skepticism often comes from a personal history of having questions or doubting and encountering a forceful rebuke of having doubt at all. Some of it might come from the Gospel of John that prioritizes being a believer in Jesus. These are written so that you may continue to believe that Jesus is the Messiah and that through believing you may have life in his name, John says. But preceding that statement, there is the well-known story of doubting Thomas. It's unfortunate that this story seems to give doubting a bad rap because doubt is healthy. Doubt is a commitment to the reason that God gave us in order to question what's in front of us. To be wise as serpents in case we encounter a false gospel we are being urged to believe. It's important to notice a detail in this story if we are inclined to believe that Thomas was somehow less of a believer than his colleagues because he doubted. While Jesus may have said, "Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have come to believe," none of the disciples believed without seeing. The passage begins, Jesus came and stood among them and said, "Peace be with you." After he said this, he showed them his hands and his side. Thomas just received what the other disciples received, a confirmation of Jesus' woundedness and indication that he has risen from the dead. If we made room for doubt in our own lives or in the questioning of those who are a part of our congregations, if we model the freedom that Jesus gave Thomas and his skepticism, then we are also blessed. If we can't trust God's presence with us when we doubt, or if we believe that we cannot claim a Christian identity because we doubt, then how can we be free to live fully as followers of Christ? Thomas's doubt gives us permission to doubt. Jesus' love and compassion was there for Thomas, who was absent the first time Jesus came to the disciples to reveal himself. But he listens to Thomas and answers his doubts. And when Thomas replies to Jesus, he says, "My Lord and my God." Amen.